To watch these important lessons, subscribe to DP Education's YouTube channel right now. Click on the bell icon to stay updated on the latest lessons. Sri Lanka's largest free online school, DP Education.
Right, children. In this chapter, we are going to discuss the questions. So as I told you all in the previous chapter, remember, before you watch this chapter, you all have to do all the questions in the exercise by yourselves and then watch this video. So then you can understand where you made mistakes and it's easy to correct yourselves. Right. So we will start by doing the exercise given in the textbook. State whether the following statements are true or false. Number 1. Temperature decreases from bottom to top of the troposphere. What is troposphere? So out of the 5 layers of the atmosphere, troposphere is the lowest layer which is closest to the earth. So there we learned that how temperature changes. The lowest air particles in the troposphere gets heated faster. Why? What is the reason, children? Because by absorbing the earth's heat. Okay, children? So when we go up through the troposphere, what happens? Temperature decreases. From bottom to top, temperature decreases. Temperature decreases from bottom to top of the troposphere. That is correct. The Earth is the only planet with an atmosphere that can sustain life. Now, when we consider the other planets, they also have, some of them don't have, but some of them, most of them have an atmosphere. But the thing is, those atmospheres, with the gases present in those atmospheres, life cannot exist. Right, children? The Earth is the only planet with an atmosphere that can sustain life. That is true. If this part was not there, the Earth is the only planet with an atmosphere, that's wrong, because the other planets also have atmosphere, right? The Earth is the only planet with an atmosphere that can sustain life. Yes, that's true. Oxygen comprises the highest percentage in the atmosphere. Do you remember the composition of air, children? The most abundant gas is not oxygen, that is nitrogen. 78% nitrogen present, 21% oxygen, and 1% other gases. Carbon dioxide, argon, water vapor, and other gases. Okay? So oxygen comprises the highest percentage. No, it's not. It should be nitrogen. Temperature increases from bottom to top of the stratosphere. Stratosphere is the second layer from Earth. Okay, so when you consider troposphere, temperature decreases from bottom to top. But when you consider stratosphere, from bottom to top, temperature increases. What is the reason? Because of the presence of the ozone layer. Okay, ozone layer absorbs the UV rays and gets heated up, right? Temperature increases from bottom to top of the stratosphere. Yes, that's true. Climatic changes take place in the troposphere. Yes, right? All the climatic changes take place in the troposphere, the lowest layer. That's true. Stratosphere contains the most amount of ozone gas. Yes, that ozone gas present as another layer that's known as the ozone layer, right? Stratosphere contains the most amount of ozone gas. Mesosphere has the lowest temperature. Out of the 5 layers of the atmosphere, mesosphere is the coldest layer, right? So the lowest temperature, that is also correct, right? Temperature decreases from bottom to top of the troposphere, correct. The Earth is the only planet with an atmosphere that can sustain life, correct. Oxygen comprises the highest percentage in the atmosphere, no. Temperature increases from bottom to top of the stratosphere, that's true. Climatic changes take place in the troposphere, true. Stratosphere contains the most amount of ozone gas, that's also true. Mesosphere has the lowest temperature, true. Right? So we will move on to the next one. So these are the additional exercises apart from the textbook. We are going to do the extra questions too, okay? Right. Again, state whether true or false. If true, we have to put a tick, right? The highest temperature of the troposphere is seen closer to the land. Is it true? Yes, right? Troposphere is the closest layer to the earth. In the lowest part of the troposphere gets heated up faster because by absorbing the earth's heat. Therefore, the highest temperature of the troposphere is seen closer to the land, and throughout the troposphere from bottom to top temperature decreases. Therefore, bottom has the highest temperature. True. Temperature increases with increase in height up to the troposphere. Temperature increases. No. The highest temperature present in the lowest part of the troposphere. Therefore, from bottom to top, temperature decreases. Temperature increases with increase in height up to the troposphere. False. Temperature increases in the stratosphere when going up. That is true. Because of the presence of the ozone layer, temperature increases from bottom to top. That's true. Due to the presence of the ozone layer, the temperature of the stratosphere increases. That is correct. The ozone layer absorbs the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Yes, that is why, because it traps part of the sunlight only, this layer gets heated up. The ozone layer absorbs the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Correct. The temperature in the mesosphere increases from bottom to top. Now the mesosphere is the coldest layer. From bottom to top, temperature decreases, highly decreases. Therefore, this is not true. Number 7. Temperature in the mesosphere is low because there is a very less amount of ozone gas. Yes. Stratosphere absorbs, because it has the ozone layer, it absorbs a lot of UV rays, ultraviolet rays. Therefore, its temperature increases. But mesosphere does not have this ozone layer, no ozone gas. Therefore, it cannot absorb UV rays or other rays from the sun. Okay? Therefore, the temperature in the mesosphere is low because there's a very less amount of ozone gas. That's true. The average temperature of the mesosphere is about 90 degrees Celsius. No, 90 degrees is a very high temperature, right? Mesosphere's temperature is very low, right? The lowest temperature is minus 90 degrees Celsius. Therefore, this is not correct. The average temperature is not 90. The temperature in the thermosphere increases from bottom to top because the air particles in this layer highly absorb the sun's heat. Do you remember when we consider the thermosphere, we learned that the temperature highly increases than all the other layers, right? All the bottom layers, temperature highly increases. Therefore, this actually happens. The particles, air particles present in this layer absorbs a large amount of heat, okay? The temperature in the thermosphere increases from bottom to top because the air particles in this layer highly absorb the sun's heat. Correct. Helicopters, parachutes, and aeroplanes travel through the stratosphere. Is this correct? No. Jets travel through the stratosphere because there's no turbulence, there's no disturbance. Therefore, jets choose to travel through the stratosphere. But when we consider that parachutes, helicopters, aeroplane, they go more towards the troposphere layer. Therefore, this is not correct. The thinnest layer in the atmosphere is the exosphere. Now, when you compare with the thickness of the Earth, atmosphere is a very thin layer. So, out of the atmosphere, out of all five layers of the atmosphere, the thinnest layer is the outermost layer, which is known as the exosphere, right? The thinnest layer in the atmosphere is the exosphere. That's correct. All the weather changes take place in the troposphere. Yes, that's true. Right. We'll check whether this is correct. Highest temperature of the troposphere seen closer to the land. Correct. Temperature increases with increase in height up to the troposphere. No, it's this, right? Temperature increases in the stratosphere when going up. Correct, because of the presence of the ozone layer. Due to the presence of the ozone layer, the temperature of the stratosphere increases. Correct. The ozone layer absorbs the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Correct. The temperature in the mesosphere increases from bottom to top. No. Mesosphere is the coldest layer. It decreases. Right? The temperature in the mesosphere is low because there is a very less amount of ozone gas. Yes. The average temperature of the mesosphere is about 90 degrees Celsius. No, it's very low. Much lower than this. Okay. The temperature in the thermosphere increases from bottom to top because the air particles in this layer highly absorb the sun's heat. That's true. Helicopters, parachutes, and aeroplanes travel through the stratosphere. No, they travel through the troposphere, the lowest layer. The thinnest layer in the atmosphere is the exosphere. That's correct. All the weather changes take place in the troposphere. That's also correct. We'll move on to the next. Right, exercise number 2. Write 2 factors that change with the increased altitude through the atmosphere. So we learned that throughout the atmosphere with the increased altitude. You remember what altitude is, children? Which means the height from the sea level. So when the height from the sea level of a certain geographical area increases, what happens, children? Pressure and the temperature of air decreases throughout the troposphere also. We learned it before, right? So write 2 factors that change with the increased altitude through the atmosphere. What are the 2 factors? Pressure and temperature. Temperature. 2. Based on the above changes, pressure and temperature changes, the atmosphere is divided into 5 layers. What are they? Now this is very easy. We'll write starting from the lowest layer, troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and finally the outermost layer is the exosphere. Right, children? 2 factors that change with the increased altitude through the atmosphere, pressure and temperature. Both pressure and temperature decreases throughout the troposphere with altitude. Okay? Based on the above changes, the atmosphere is divided into 5 layers. What are those layers? Troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. Right? We'll move on to the next. Number 3. What is the lowest layer of the atmosphere? The closest layer to the earth is the troposphere. What is the height of this layer near the equator? Do you remember? I explained you all that troposphere is not evenly distributed around the earth, right? Because of the high temperature in the equator area, what happens, children? Air particles spread or they expand and therefore height is increased than the polar regions. Okay, what is the height of this layer near the equator? Do you remember what the value is? About 15 kilometers. What is the height of this layer near poles, polar regions? It is about 8 kilometers. Right, children? What is the lowest layer of the atmosphere? Troposphere. What is the height of this layer near the equator? It's about 15 kilometers. What is the height of this layer near the poles? It's about 8 kilometers. We'll move on to the next. Right. Exercise number 4. Temperature decreases with increase in height up to the troposphere. Briefly explain the reason for this. So if this is the Earth, if this is the troposphere, the lowest layer, what happens? Because of the Earth's heat, the lower part of the troposphere gets heated up faster. So when moving away from the land, this temperature decreases. That is why from bottom to top temperature decreases. Right? We learned this many times now. Okay? Let's write. Temperature decreases with increasing height up to the troposphere. Briefly explain the reason for this. Right? Let's write. Due to sun's heat, land and the sea gets heated up. The air closer to the ground closer to the earth get heated up faster due to this. When going away from earth, the temperature gradually decreases. Okay, children? Temperature decreases with increasing height up to the troposphere. Briefly explain the reason for this. Due to sun's heat, land and the sea gets heated up. The air closer to the earth. The air closer to the earth gets heated up faster due to this heating up of the land. Okay? When going away from earth, the temperature gradually decreases. We'll add something. Therefore, temperature decreases with increasing height up to the troposphere. Right, children? We'll move on to the next. Temperature increases in the stratosphere when going up. Briefly explain the reason for this. What is the reason? Now you all know the reason. This layer has another special layer called the ozone layer. This ozone layer absorbs the UV or ultraviolet rays coming from the sun. Because of absorption of ultraviolet rays, this layer gets heated up. Therefore, from bottom to top, the temperature increases. Okay? Right. Due to the absorption of ultraviolet rays from the sun by the ozone layer present in the stratosphere, temperature increases in the stratosphere when going up. Right, children? Temperature increases in the stratosphere when going up. Briefly explain the reason for this. Due to the absorption of ultraviolet rays or the UV rays from the sun by the ozone layer present in the stratosphere, the temperature increases in the stratosphere when going up. We'll move on to the next. Right, exercise number 6. What is the most important layer of the atmosphere to the organisms? That is where we live. That is the troposphere, the lowest layer. We all live in the troposphere. Okay? Therefore, it is very important to us. Troposphere. Write the composition of the troposphere. Composition of air present in the troposphere. Let's write. I hope you got this right. Nitrogen, the most abundant air gas. Nitrogen, 78%. The next one is oxygen, 21%. The other 1% contains of carbon dioxide, argon, water vapor and other gases. Okay? Carbon dioxide. Argon is the third most abundant. Therefore, we'll write that. Argon, carbon dioxide, water vapor, other gases. 1%. 78, 21, 1% makes 100%. Okay, so these other gases contain helium, hydrogen, xenon, like gases. Okay, right. So what is the most important layer of the atmosphere to the organisms? Troposphere. The composition of the troposphere: nitrogen 78%, 21% of oxygen, argon, carbon dioxide, water vapor and other gases 1%. Okay, we'll move on to the next. Number 1. What is the coldest layer of the atmosphere? Out of the 5 layers, the middle layer is the coldest one. What is that, children? That is known as the mesosphere. Mesosphere. Number 2. What is the importance of the ozone layer which lies in the stratosphere? What is the importance, children? Now you all know the reason. Because the ozone layer can absorb the harmful UV rays, ultraviolet rays coming from the sun, and therefore it prevents these UV rays entering the earth and causing us harms. Okay, let's write. It prevents harmful UV rays from sun reaching the earth by absorbing them. Right? What's the importance of the ozone layer which lies in the stratosphere? It prevents harmful UV rays from sun reaching the earth by absorbing them. Right, children? We'll move on to the next. Exercise 8. Define what air pollution is. What is air pollution? Here, the composition of the air changes by adding different substances, and it makes harmful effects for the organisms. Okay, that is known as air pollution. Okay, right. substances to the atmosphere changing its composition and causing harmful effects on organisms. Right? What is air pollution? Adding substances to the atmosphere, changing its composition and causing harmful effects on organisms is known as air pollution. Okay? What are the main two groups of air pollutants? We learned that there are two main groups of air pollutants. What are they, children? Gaseous pollutants and particulate pollutants. Okay? Number one, gaseous pollutants. Particulate pollutants. Right? What are the main two groups of air pollutants? Gaseous pollutants and particulate pollutants. Okay? Exercise number 9. Write a single word suitable for each of the following descriptions. Let's go through this. The height of a certain place from the sea level. Can you think of a single term used for these, children? Height of a certain place from the sea level, it is known as the altitude. Altitude. Next one. The thin layer of gases that surrounds the earth. The thin layer that surrounds the earth, entirely taken as is known as the atmosphere. The lowest layer of the atmosphere, the closest to the earth, that is the troposphere. Troposphere. The layer of the atmosphere where the ozone layer lies, that's the next layer, stratosphere. Number 5, the layer of the atmosphere where water vapor gets frozen into ice clouds. What is that, children? That is known as the coldest layer is the mesosphere. Okay? Mesosphere. The layer where the International Space Station is situated. What is that layer? The 4th layer, the thermosphere. The layer where the weather changes take place, that is also earlier we mentioned, that is also troposphere. Troposphere. Number 8, the gas that helps to maintain the temperature on the earth. What is the gas? Out of all the gases, the most important gas to maintain the temperature on the earth is carbon dioxide gas. It can trap heat waves from sun. Okay? Carbon dioxide gas. The gas that is essential for respiration and combustion, that what is that, children? Respiration, oxygen. And the most abundant gas in the air, what is 78% of nitrogen gas. Right, children? We'll go from the beginning of this. The height of a certain place from the sea level is called altitude. The thin layer of gases that surrounds the earth is known as the atmosphere. The lowest layer of the atmosphere is the troposphere. The layer of the atmosphere where the ozone layer lies is the stratosphere. The layer of the atmosphere where the water vapor gets frozen into ice clouds is the mesosphere. The layer where the International Space Station is situated is the thermosphere. The layer where the weather changes take place is the troposphere. The gas that helps to maintain the temperature on the Earth is carbon dioxide gas. The gas that is essential for respiration and combustion is oxygen. And finally, the most abundant gas in the air is nitrogen gas. This was an easy one. We'll move on to the next. Right, exercise number 10. Write 5 functions of the atmosphere. We learn many functions of the atmosphere. What are they, children? You can easily write 5 of them. So even if you want, you can write all the functions that we learn. So you can improve your knowledge by that. Okay, so write 5 functions of the atmosphere. What is the most important function, children? The atmosphere provides oxygen for us to breathe. Okay, let's write number 1. Provides oxygen for respiration. What is the next one, children? We can write provides carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. Number 3. So carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere is important to maintain the optimum heat of the Earth. Okay. Maintains optimum temperature. Maintains an optimum temperature. What else, children? We can write important for communication among people, right, as a medium. Important for communication among people. What else, children? Making the soil rich by providing nitrogen gas. Okay. Making the soil rich by providing nitrogen gas. Okay. What are the other importances, children? So for birds and some insects to fly as a medium, this is important, right? So it can prevent or it can minimize the meteors reaching the Earth, and thereby it can save us. Okay. So those are the other things that you can write. Okay. So we'll go through this. Write 5 functions of the atmosphere. Provides oxygen for respiration. Provides carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. Maintains an optimum temperature. Important for communication among people. Making the soil rich by providing nitrogen gas. Okay, children. So these are some functions of the atmosphere. You can write all the other functions too. Okay. We'll move on to the next. Exercise number 11. Name 3 gaseous air pollutants. Now there are 3 types of air pollutants, gaseous ones and particulate air pollutants. So what are the gaseous air pollutants? There are 3 main gaseous air pollutants and other gaseous air pollutants too. We'll write the main ones here. Carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides. Right? Name 3 gaseous air pollutants: carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides. All these 3 things are gases. Okay? Name 4 particulate air pollutants. What are they? Let's write. Carbon particles, lead particles, asbestos particles, cement particles, carbon particles, lead particles, asbestos particles, cement particles. What else, children? Those droplets, we can insecticide droplets, unburnt fuel droplets. Those are also droplets also counted under particulate air pollutants. Okay, children? So you can write those examples too. We will move on to the next. Right, exercise number 12. Write 3 ways that air pollution takes place. We learn many ways. Let's write some of them. I'm sure you must have done this correctly, right? Burning of fossil fuels in vehicles and factories. Burning of fossil fuels in factories. In factories and also in vehicles you can write, okay? We can write burning of garbage, polythene and plastic. Polythene and plastic. What else, children? Deforestation, right? Clearing the forests. Write 3 ways air pollution takes place: burning of fossil fuels and factories and vehicles, burning of polythene and plastic or garbage, volcanic eruptions, deforestation, and the emissions from the thermal power plants. Those type of things also you can write, okay? Write 3 adverse effects of air pollution. What are the adverse effects, children? We can write climatic changes. Climatic changes. Diseases in the respiratory system or respiratory diseases. Respiratory diseases. What else, children? Environmental temperature, increase of the environmental temperature unnecessarily. Increase of the environmental temperature unnecessarily. Right? Change in the rainfall patterns, okay? Affecting the water cycle. You can write all those things too. Adverse effects, climatic changes, respiratory diseases, increase of the environmental temperature unnecessarily. Right, children? So those are the harmful effects of air pollution. Right? We'll move on to the next. Okay, exercise 13. This is the last exercise of this lesson. Write 5 ways to minimize air pollution. How to minimize these harmful effects of air pollution? What can we do? We learn several steps, right? Burning of fossil fuels in factories, so we can minimize the burning of fossil fuels, okay? Burning of polythene and plastic. We can recycle waste like polythene and plastic without burning them, okay? Deforestation is another cause. We can grow more plants and reforestation, okay? Those type of things we can write. Let's write. minimizing the burning of fossil fuels. Recycling waste without burning. Reforestation. What else, children? What are the other ways of air pollution? Due to factory emissions. So we can send these factory emissions through filters without directly releasing it to the environment, right? Releasing factory emission through filters. What else, children? Tuning the vehicle engines. Okay, tuning the vehicle engines. Right, tuning the vehicle engines. What else? Using eco-friendly energy sources other than using fossil fuels, and other than using non-renewable energy sources, using renewable energy sources, eco-friendly energy sources. Okay, children? So write 5 ways to minimize air pollution. Minimizing the burning of fossil fuels, recycling waste without burning, reforestation, releasing factory emission through filters, tuning the vehicle engines, etc. Okay, children? So we have completed the entire lesson now. So we learn about the atmosphere. Now we know that atmosphere contains 5 layers. We can divide this atmosphere into 5 layers based on the change of pressure and temperature. So the 5 layers are different from each other. The way the temperature changes is different, right? There are some other important factors about these layers too. We learn all of them. And also we learn about what are the components present in the atmosphere and the importance of the atmosphere. And also we learn about air pollution and how to minimize the effects of air pollution too. And we answered all these questions. I hope you all have answered successfully. If you have made any mistake, go through that particular lesson part and try to revise what you have done so that you will understand the lesson better.
To watch these important lessons, subscribe to DP Education's YouTube channel right now. Click on the bell icon to stay updated on the latest lessons. Sri Lanka's largest free online school, DP Education.